What's going on, everybody? I appreciate those of you that were waiting on the stream to start. Those of you stopping by watching the replay, hit that thumbs up, subscribe, and turn on all notifications so you'll be able to take part in these chats and get a notification whenever we go live moving forward. So clearly, for those of you that are here already, see we got a few people jumped in already, decided to stay because I know people are going to ask about the storm. Decided to stay. We're going to be on the west side of the storm. Not really projected to get too bad of weather for the most part, so we're just going to go ahead and ride it out. So I'm here. We're live. We are going to be live today. Got 2 fragrances sent to me from Ormonde Jayne, from the brand. I was able to pick out what I wanted. And a bunch of people have told me I needed Intensivo because I love Montabaco Verano so much. And then Ormonde, man, I've been seeing Justin sing its praises lately. So I was like, let me try that. So, but we got to start it off right. Fakar Gold from Latafa is my scent of the day, a clone of 1 Million Parfum. I am going to be doing a full review on this one, as well as Effla Parfum from Fragrance World, the 2 clones that I've picked up recently. And good stuff, but I don't want to dive too far into it because my review may surprise some of you. But today's scent of the day, Fakar Gold. So let's see what everybody is wearing so far. For those of you just jumping in, make sure you hit that thumbs up on the way in if you don't mind. Montabaco, best of my all. I'm assuming you mean of your collection. What's going on, Sean? How are you? I've never tried that. Just did a live with Dedrick about this house, Ormonde Jayne Gatsby. Yeah, Dedrick texted me earlier saying he just did a live about this. I missed that stream. I didn't see that one. So I see my exposure is pretty damn high. Yeah, we'll go ahead and turn that light off. Change the exposure a little bit too much because I had to close one of the blinds because just you can see this all this lighting on this side in particular. Because if I close all the blinds, it's too dark in here, and I don't want to put lights on behind me when I have natural lighting. So whatever, the lighting's not going to be perfect for this stream, but whatever. Kevin, good to see you. Climatics in the house. What's going on, my man? Gang's all here. Dior Cologne, just lounging, playing Madden. Good to see you, Ethan. I expect a pretty small crowd because we are talking niche fragrances again. I've been doing these very niche topics, not just niche fragrances specifically, but very niche topics lately. So I've been expecting a very intimate, who really wants to be here type of crowd lately. Aside from like when I had Justin, obviously we had a much bigger crowd because it was a much more broad topic and I had a guest. So I own 5 from the house. Well, this makes 3 and 4 because I have Xandria and I have Montabaco Verano, and they're both phenomenal. Good to see you, Scott. Dominique, good to see you. Hope everyone's doing great. Terre de Mez Au Fraiche. Au Très Fraîche. I've been wanting to get that one. That's the next Terre de Mez I plan on getting. Ormonde Jayne. What's up, Ormonde Jayne here too. Muscat today. Never tried that one. Gucci Envy for Spencer. Derege for Patrick. Malpaso, okay. Dua Casino Matrix. Praline Rosa Black. That's a good one. Hope everyone's doing well. Rubroca Theorem. Testing L'Homme Intense on the hand. So that's a beautiful fragrance, my friend. That is a beautiful, beautiful, beautiful fragrance. Dark, leathery, patchouli, iris. Shiaka will be delivered tomorrow. I'm stoked. Wearing, is it incense? Or Ekans, Insons. I want to say I'm butchering that, or I'm kind of close. One of the two, I'm not sure. But I know the fragrance. I never can pronounce it right. It's been a minute since I joined live. Polo Cologne Intense. It's about that time for a refresh. Well, it's a solid fragrance, Gabe. I just haven't worn it in a while. That skipped ahead right when I was going to click this one. I have no experience with any of the Suspiro fragrances, unfortunately. Godolphin. Ooh, beautiful take on Tuscan leather. That's a good choice. Neo and okay. So it's a Neo and BR540 hybrid. Okay. Wearing Fahrenheit EDT. No clue. I don't have either. I don't want to ruin my memories with new weak formulations. I don't know what to tell you, my man. I'll try it eventually. I'm not in no huge rush, but I'm going to try it eventually. I'm more focused on, I'd really like to try Absolute Aventus. I've kind of got my eyes on that one a little bit more. Tom Ford Gray Vetiver for the office today. Excellent choice. Chessboard sample pack from Mind Games. French Defense is a standout. My God. 10-4. Elysium for work tonight. Hope you're good, but I can't complain. I appreciate you being here, and you smell great. Speaking of smelling great, Native 78 smells phenomenal with La Bola Parfum. So we'll hang out for a few more minutes before we jump into the topic. Kind of hit that 10-minute mark. Give everybody that wants to be here a chance to get here. Love and Loam Intense over all the other flankers. Insane it got discontinued. So that's most people's favorite. My favorite's actually the low flanker, the fresher one with the baby blue back. But I mean, they're all good. It's such a good line. Dior Homme Original before the original. That's what I have. Before they renamed it to Dior Homme Original. That's the version I have too. So you're wearing a great formulation. Will these be first impressions? Yes. So I've never smelled either. That's why they're still sealed. And I've never sampled them before. My door before I went to the gym today. I knew it was coming, so I was like, that's going to be my live stream today. Michael's wearing Greenlee. Okay, good stuff. Good stuff. So we might as well start unwrapping these bad boys, right? So I kind of want to start with Montabaco Intensivo. What do you guys think? Should I go with Ormonde Man first? Or should I roll with my gut here and go with Intensivo? Because Intensivo is the one that, like I said, I've had a bunch of viewers ever since I got Verano tell me, ooh, if you like that, you'd really like Intensivo. Honestly, I haven't worn Xandria in almost 2 years. It's been a while. I know it's supposed to be like Alexandria 2. A bunch of people told me that, which I don't have Alexandria 2 and never tried it, so I'm not sure. And for a real treat, I own them both. Fingers crossed, because the brand reached out to Justin. He got Montabaco Verano and Ormonde Man. And I knew he was going to like Montabaco Verano. It's phenomenal. It is absolutely phenomenal. And then I saw, so he got fragrances before I did. So I heard some of him, what he had to say about Ormonde Man. So I was like, ooh, let me try that. And they were offering Montabaco Verano to me. And I was like, well, I already have that. Can I pick something else? And they were like, yeah, absolutely. Check out the site. Let us know what you'd be interested in checking out. And I was like, well, I don't have to look at the site. I've had viewers tell me that I need to check this out. Can I go with this? So thank you, Ormonde Jayne, for sending these my way. Obviously, if for some reason they don't smell that good to me, which I highly doubt, I would say it. The misconception is a free bottle dictates you can't dare say something bad. That's bullshit. That's malarkey. That's pick whatever term that equates to bullshit, and that's because that's just not true. I can only speak for myself. So funny that you say that. I bought Ambassador and Ambassador Intense today. So I saw the restock yesterday and I kind of slept on it. Woke up this morning and the 100 ml tester of Ambassador sold out. So I got stuck with the 50 ml because it was like $10 more for a 100 ml tester. And I was going to get that. But I mean, I finally sprayed the Intense because Randy gave me this carded sample a while back. And I sprayed it last night. And it definitely reminds me a little bit of Sauvage Elixir in the opening. I'll say more Latafa Assad than Sauvage Elixir, but it is a nice fragrance. It is good. That's because I was like, man, before I drop $100 on this 100 ml, I have a freaking carded sample. Why wouldn't I spray it before I buy the damn thing? I do like it. And then I saw some of the, just sorry for the language, guys. I'm gonna try not to say the F word because I say it a lot on these live streams. I'm gonna try to hold back because we have an agenda here. And out of respect for Ormonde Jayne, I'm gonna refrain from saying the F word, but because I'm sure they'll see this video. But there's some hateful people on Fragrantica talking about this, saying the only reason anybody says anything nice is they got paid or they got a free bottle or something. I got this sample sent to me by a friend and I bought my bottle, and I can tell you right now, I like this. So people just are hateful. People just hate to hate. That's what it comes down to. People are hateful. Look, if you don't like the fragrance, you don't like the fragrance, but it doesn't mean because somebody got a bottle for free that they're lying. I mean, I can't speak for others, but I like it to where I was like, yes, I'm gonna drop the $100. I bought, I thought that was a fair price, especially when I smelled it. Is it redundant if you have Assad and Elixir? Yeah, it is. But I think it's better than Assad. And so far, anyways, just from the one spray, because It's kind of still there. I sprayed it at like 10 o'clock last night. I've washed my hands a few times. It's kind of still there. It's a little resinous and still get a little bit of the spice. But point being, I think it falls in between Sauvage Elixir and Assad. I think it's way better than, obviously it's much more expensive than Assad, but it's more affordable than from discounters than a Sauvage Elixir. It's not as good as Sauvage Elixir. So, first impressions on it, I would say it falls into like a 7.5 out of 10. Very good. So I was like, yeah, that's enough for me to pull the trigger on the bottle, spend more time with it. Now, what I didn't buy, because they stocked Gisato Uomo, sprayed that and I was like, miss. Just 50 something bucks for a 15 ml. I'm like, I don't need it. I don't need it. I'd rather get regular Ambassador with Ambassador Intense. So I passed on this because I could have grabbed that too. So I know that has nothing to do with the topic, but since you asked, I figured I'd go ahead and weigh in. Because I wanted to go look at the notes and everything while I'm sitting there sniffing it. I'm cross-referencing what I think I smell. And I started reading some of these just ridiculous people. Ridiculous. Like there's people who are like, I don't know what y'all are talking about. This, I really like how this smells. And then there's other people, shill. They're shills with shills and shills. Y'all need to grow up. Y'all need to grow up that think that way. Y'all need to grow the hell up. My God. Unbelievable. But anyways, let's get off of that. So Ormonde Man first. There's our vote. No, Chipotles have sucked. Yeah, we don't have the one. They have a Cava nearby. It may fill that void. Basically, Mediterranean Chipotle. I think you've told me about that before. Looking forward to this. Ormonde Man first. Save Intensivo for last. So I guess Intensivo is that jam then. Intensivo is that thing. Oh, damn. That's a strong vote of confidence right there. Josh, how were you? Last week. Love Ormonde Jayne's bottle design. I do too. They're 50 mLs. They feel right. They have a nice aesthetic to them. They're very clean. How are you? Bought my first niche. Leighton. Got a ton of other PDM samples. Wajan, Herod, smelling heavenly. They are good ones. Still waiting to get my nose on Carlisle. That's another good one. Heard a lot of things about Intensivo. Shout outs to EQ. Okay, so man, it's hard not to start with Intensivo with all the praise it's getting from you guys. Not heading out. We decided to stay. Player haters ball. Hate. Dave Chappelle skit. I know exactly what you're referencing. Ambassador Intense for over a year, and they're always getting positive attention when I wear them. I haven't smelled Ambassador. Randy sent me the sample of that too. I just don't know where the hell it's at. But I finally got around to spraying the Intense, and then when I started cross-referencing the notes and I saw some of the stuff people were typing in the forum comment portion, I was like, God, this is why I hate this place. This is why I hate it. Because I wanted to see the because that's the one good thing about it when people are, being honest, is the smells like section is a little bit more diverse most of the time than what Parfumos is. And that's the one thing I give the nod to Fragrantica over, but it's all depends on what these random ass people are putting there. So you can get an idea for the most part. And I saw Sauvage and stuff like that. So I was like, let me get the original too. Why the hell not? So the only one I have is Intensivo and love it. So another great one. I appreciate you being here. So let's go ahead and dive in. This Cava is amazing. Noah Birch, $5 super chat. 4 months ago as a member coming up. Hopefully I'll slide in with a giveaway dub. Scent of the day, red tobacco. Hope all is well. Well, hey, I'm rooting for you, man. So next week is going to be the poll, probably this weekend. I'm going to put out the poll for you guys to vote on what the giveaways are going to be this month. So we'll get into that. Intensivo is amazing too. Joe's in the house. What's going on, Joe? Wearing Giussette, Accident à la Vanille. All right. So let's go ahead and jump into this now. So Jason threw it out there that I should save Intensivo for last, like it's the better of the two, and all the rest of you immediately started praising Intensivo. So I guess I need to save Intensivo for last, save the best for last kind of thing. So we'll start with Ormonde Jayne. Again, I didn't look at the notes on these. I'm just going off of what Justin said. That was why I picked Ormonde Man. And then I want to say I've looked at the notes on Intensivo in the past. I just don't remember them. But I'm totally blind with this, aside from seeing Justin talk about it in one video. Let me adjust the focus. So here we go. Ormonde Man from Ormonde Jayne. From what I remember of Justin saying, it's kind of that timeless fougere smell, which I'm a sucker for. Nothing on this hand. So it looks like it's going to be like yesterday where the video is going to keep freezing. I know you guys can hear me. It's so frustrating that the bandwidth goes to crap every time I get on a live stream in the middle of the day, because I see myself on YouTube frozen, and I watch the playbacks after the lives when I have time. Like before the day's out, I watch the playback, and I know you guys could hear me when it freezes like that. It's so weird. Okay. There's a freshness, but there's a creamy, mossy type of feel to it. There's got to be some moss or something that's kind of giving me this earthy green tone, a little creamy, musky smell. Very masculine, very versatile. This is not a young man's scent. This has an old school feel to it. You know, classic fougere feel without a bunch of spice. Like it's devoid of the kind of spice I would expect from this type of scent profile, which makes it a little different from most of what I have that I would put this in the same category as. That is quite nice. It's a soft aroma. And when I say soft, I don't mean weak. Like there's no abrasive tones to it. There's no sharpness to the citrus. Like it smells pretty clear, like a lemon to me, but not sharp. It's like a somewhat of a watery lemon, and I think that creaminess is like a musky tone, like a creamy musk. It doesn't necessarily have a woody smell, so I don't think it's sandalwood. There's some green earthy facets to this that it smells like oak moss. I could be wrong. This is nice, but it's not like, oh my God, this is so amazing. That's how I felt about Montabaco Verano. That's phenomenal. This is, I would say, a very good fragrance, but it's not like blowing me away or anything. Let's pull up the notes. I'm very curious. Let's do a split screen here with Parfumo Ormonde Man. Let's see what we're working with. 2004, been around for a while. High ratings, a lot of high praise from people on Parfumo. 8.1 out of 10 with 439 ratings. Woody spicy. So maybe it is sandalwood. There is sandalwood. Okay. And musk. So that's clearly the creaminess here. You know, I'm kind of surprised to see cardamom and coriander because I really don't get a ton of spice. Even the second ranked accord is spice. It's subtle. Like I smell it, but it's very subtle. So not seeing any oak moss is kind of surprising. Oud, I wouldn't even begin to tell. I would have never guessed there was oud here. I would have never guessed that. The pink pepper makes sense for the vibrance and the sweetness. Bergamot is clearly the citrus I was getting, but juniper is the aromatic. Hemlock fir, I guess, is the green smell that I'm getting that I was thinking might have been an oak moss, but I don't know distinctively what hemlock fir. I'm sure it's a fir balsam. But it's, let me see if it froze. Sure the hell did. Yep. Sorry about that, guys. We'll go back and forth. I want to see when it unfreezes. Nice. There we go. So you're going to see me clicking back and forth when it does catch back up because YouTube's delayed from what I'm actually currently doing in real time. So I apologize that the bandwidth's like this. Apparently, it's going to be every live stream. It's unfortunate. I can't wait till they're done with the fiber optic. Hopefully that will remedy this. It's nothing spectacular or special to me. So I see the high ratings. I understand why it's rated so highly because it is a quality, versatile, man's man type of scent profile. It's a very woodsy green fragrance, more so than a woody spice. At least on my skin, that's how I interpret it. This is nice. This is classy. This is a great fragrance, I would say, to wear to church. This is great for a gathering when you don't want anything playful. You want something that to be taken a little bit more seriously. This would be great for that, family get-togethers, things like that, where you don't necessarily want something sweet or super synthetic, a modern blue or anything like that. I think that's the kind of situations I think of when I wear this. This isn't something that I'm necessarily going to reach for all the time, but it will get wear in my rotation because I can appreciate this style. I would like to get more spice out of this, which I do have to say, as it settles down, it is getting spicier. So I guess as it dries, it's just going to continue to get better and better. I think that's going to be the case. The opening is nothing special. This is a solid fragrance. And just on the beginning stages of this, just to give it a first impressions rating, I think it's a 7 out of 10. It's a very good fragrance. But it's not like, whew, man, guys, try this from the brand. That's not the case. It's very good, but it's not great. It's not on the level of what I've come to expect from the brand, because Xandria and Montabaco Verano are phenomenal scents. That's my two current experiences prior to this that I have with the brand, and they're phenomenal. They're both, at minimum 8 out of 10 fragrances. Just blindly, I can tell you they're at least great on my rating scale, whereas this is still very good. It's just not special. It's kind of an average scent profile, just with really, really good quality and a great blend, which is what gives it that very good rating. So if it was a synthetic fragrance, obviously the rating would be lower, but the quality really gives it a nice boost. But it's solid. It's a solid fragrance. That's where I'm at with it right now. My feelings could change in 3 hours when it's dried down. But for now, that's where I'm at with it. Let me get caught up on the chat a little bit. Fragrance Fraternity, good to see you. To Me Awaken. Okay. Gerald, good to see you, sir. Sonder, good to see you. Wearing Leighton. Fellas, I appreciate you, sir. I definitely appreciate you. Ormonde Jayne, man, is phenomenal. And look, to each their own. Now, if I was still wearing a suit and tie every day, and it's cutting out again, I don't know. I see a black screen for a moment with a little circle. If I was still working at a car dealership in the luxury market, if I was still at Land Rover or at Mercedes, yeah, this is an everyday wear because I was wearing a suit pretty often. This would be great with a suit and tie. Business professional, yeah, this is a great everyday wear. Great work fragrance in an office environment. I could see that would enhance the wearability for me greatly. This would be a great office fragrance. And just based off of your avatar, I'm sure you work in a professional setting, Gerald. That's immediately I match what you're wearing in your picture to the scent profile, and I can absolutely see why you might enjoy it because the wearability is probably really high for you. And like I said prior, the quality here is fantastic. For Montabaco Verano being full of ISOE Super, this doesn't come across as full of synthetics. It has quite a natural smell. 15 mil. Ormonde, man, is for the refined gentleman. Yeah, that's kind of how it strikes me. It's definitely Oxford and above. It's not a t-shirt fragrance. It's not a casual day off type of fragrance. Bracking's in the house. Good to see you. Volcanus, the king of the super chat, has arrived wearing Silver Mountain Water from Creed. I need to pull that one back out and wear it. It's been a little bit, but I appreciate the support as always, my man. Thank you so much for being here, and thank you so much for the super chat. And you smell great, by the way. Ormonde Woman works better for me. And I'm a bald-headed, gold-mouthed savage. I love the description, my man. Hey, fragrance doesn't have a gender. They just lean feminine or they lean masculine, and taste is taste. There's a lot of feminine leaning fragrances that I enjoy too, man. Maybe vetiver has lots of it extra. Just wait till it melds with your sweat. That's fair. That's fair. Oops, went backwards. I think the bandwidth issues have to do with any remote workers working from home. You would hope. Well, it's technically cable internet right now, so the bandwidth gets split throughout the building and throughout the complex as a whole, whereas when they're done with the fiber optic, that won't be an issue. Because I had fiber optic when I was in San Antonio for those few months, and it was the fastest bandwidth I've ever had ever. It was unbelievable. Even my Wi-Fi would blow away a hardwired connection here. The Boz has arrived. Good to see you, my man. Heard of this fragrance house from Justin. Yeah, that Justin was the reason I picked this one out, because they let me pick 2 fragrances out. And I picked this one out because he had been praising it. And I could see why he would enjoy this. This is Justin's style as well. He's very partial to the fougères, the quality fougères. Watch since. Our dude described Ormonde Jayne, say that it smells like James Bond in a bottle. That's fair. Had several women give me compliments when I wear it, even the young women. That's fair. James Bond comparison, I totally can get that. Totally get that. Have you tried Michael Malone San Lucas? I have not. Very interesting. We're trying, in my opinion. Yes, sir, you are correct. You strike me that way just based on comments you've had in the past, and then obviously your avatar and immediately what you had to say about the fragrance. It all just made sense. Usually pretty good with reading people, but I appreciate you being here, sir, and for letting me know. Well, Mr. Carlos, scent of the day is Coach for Men. Pretty basic scent, but wanted bandwidth issue again. Gotta love it. Beach Life's in the house. No, I actually haven't reached for it. I have so much that I've wanted to wear while I have the heat. And I know I have the heat and humidity for a while. So I'm not like rushing, like trying to fit everything in a 2-week span. It's because I'm still mixing it around a little bit. But there's just so much that I want to wear right now. From Texas, Rackstore Phonics is kind of my jam. On no note, have you tried ATH? I've had a few of them. Decants. Haze Blue. I've tried those. And then the only bottle I have is Smolder, his collaboration with Chris. I have a bottle of that. Ordered Versace Pour Homme today. Got a good deal. I mean, you can't go wrong there, boss. Mercedes-Benz Man Intense. Good stuff. Good stuff. Definitely a Fahrenheit feel. Volcanus with another $5. My man. Going to take a deeper look at the Ormonde Jayne house. I have a few samples. Well, I'm really giddy about the next one. So a lot of people have told me I would like this one. And then everybody in the chat was praising this immediately. And Jason even told me, save it for last. So normally when you hear save it for last, it's save the best for last. So the reason I picked this was based on things people have said in comment sections and live chats to me about if I like Verano, you need Intensivo. So apparently this is like the one from the brand based on what I've gathered. But thank you again for the extra super chat. My birthday sent today. Well, happy birthday, my man. Thank you for joining us for a little while. Montrese is in the house. What's going on, big dog? Not yet. Not yet. Which of my flankers which of the flankers is my favorite? I would say Intenso de Parfum is always going to be the greatest of all time. That's the GOAT when it comes to that DNA. But we'll see. We'll see what happens with the elixir. Eventually I'll try it. It's in Europe right now. Joel, good to see you. Legend EDP, good move, good move. Sean with the $5 super chat, waiting on Mr. Maritime. That's another one I need to buy. I was gonna get that, and then I freaking spent $300 at Fragrance Buy this morning. So shit, because I really didn't want to pass up, especially when people started buying up different sizes of Ambassador. I was like, damn, it's gonna sell out. I can't wait. I'm not gonna be able to wait like I was hoping. But if you haven't checked out Atrium Fragrances, they are worth a look. Indeed, like I have not picked up Mr. Romantic. I keep pulling the cap and smelling it. It's been staying right here because it's not like it was before. Like it's literally just the stuff for the rotation. Like I plan on wearing this week, and at some point I'm going to spray this. That's why they're off to the side, but that's the last 2 days. And then today's fragrance needs to go right there. So that's where I line them up for the rotation. But thank you for the $5 super chat, my man. So we're going to jump into this in just a second. I love most of the Ormonde Jayne line. I like Verano, and Intensivo is the best. Verano Intensivo the best. Okay, that's fair. That's what most people have told me. Just not huge differences for me in those. Slightly more tobacco strength. So I would assume Verano's got more tobacco, maybe? Or is Intensivo more? Because intensive, I guess that would be because of the name, that would be more tobacco. I don't know. We're going to find out in a second. So I'm excited about the new X-Straight Triumph for Bacchus. I can't wait to check that out. Scent of the day is Latafa Naja. It's a green apple. We having bandwidth issues because it won't pin the comment. There we go. Mont Blanc Legend. Had to wash it off because it got very humid very quickly. Oof. All right, so on that note, we're going to hold off there. And let's go ahead and bust open Montabaco Intensivo and see what we're working with. I do like how they have these little books that come with them. They do put some effort into their presentations, I have to say. So here we go. Montabaco Intensivo. I'm assuming it still has tobacco like Verano, because I want to say I've looked at the notes in the past. I just don't remember. Let me spray off to the side. Okay, let's see what we're working with here. We'll give it a second. This is the one with more tobacco, not Verano. This has more tobacco. Way more. This is much more dark, smoky, and earthy on my skin. Of course, right when I start talking, it does this. I don't know if y'all heard me or not. I said, of course, right when I start talking, it does that. It froze. But this comes across as an intense version of Verano. So I guess that's why the name is Intensivo. It's more earthy, and it even comes across smoky on my skin. But it's still airy. That's the trade-off here. For as what's the words? How do I want to phrase this? Give me a second. I hate to just sound like I'm doing it because of the name, but it is a more intense smell to Verano, but it's still airy like Verano. And I would think that's because of Isoe Super or some synthetics, because it does smell like Verano, just more intense, like the name would indicate. There is redundancy here. You don't need both. Verano's fresher. I get more grapefruit immediately out of Verano. Very familiar with Verano. I don't even need to grab it to tell you about it. I'm very familiar with it. This is smoky on my skin. I'm surprised how smoky this is on my skin. Let's pull up the notes. Whoops. I'm about to say, how's that not coming up? Montabaco Intensivo, spicy, yes. Woody, yes. Fresh, synthetic, green. So the tobacco's here in the base, but I get a lot of it early. Cardamom, air accord. Okay, I'm assuming that's why it's so airy then. So that's some type of molecule that they put in here to liven up the top note. So I couldn't tell you what air accord's supposed to smell like, but I can tell you what it's clearly doing, because it is a breezy, airy, surprisingly airy scent in the top. So as weird as that looks, it actually makes a lot of sense. Clary sage, juniper, so a lot of aromatics, bergamot, orange absolute, hedione, more synthetic molecules to help it push, kind of that 90s feel, magnolia, that's surprising, tea, rose, and violet, Isoe Super. So yeah, loaded down with synthetics, just like Montabaco Verano. Moss, suede, ambergris, sandalwood, tonka bean, tobacco. So I don't know if it's the tobacco. I don't know if it's the tobacco and suede combo, but it does come across smoky on my skin. Very woodsy, spicy, super airy. Super, super airy and a little earthy. But I feel like I could wear this in the heat if I'm easy, if I just do 2 or 3 sprays. I feel like I could wear it in the heat and also wear it in the winter. This is impressive. This is that jam. This is the one. I don't know if I like it cuts out. Why not cut out? Guys, this is impressive. Very masculine. For as full of synthetics as it is in aroma molecules, it smells great. This can dress up. This can dress down, maybe not as easily as Montabaco Verano. I think that's a little bit more casual of a profile. I think the darker notes are much more present in this blend versus Verano. Again, that's fresher overall. a softer wood, more citrus. This is more earthy. This is green. This is more spicy. Redundant, but there are subtle nuance changes and differences here. I'm sure it's a phenomenal performer. This is really good. Ormonde Man has gotten a lot better. It's gotten way more creamy. It's a creamy, spicy, woody smell now. So the dry down is where it's at with Ormonde Man. It's, you know, and it's early in the heart, early dry down. That easily bumps it to a 7.5. So it's still very good, still not quite great, but it bumped itself a little bit as it's starting to dry. Whereas this is easily an 8.5 out of 10 fragrance. Montabaco Intensivo is really, really, really good. I don't know which is better between this and Verano, though. If I was at a perfumery sampling them side by side, I don't know if I'd be able to pick one. I would have to put them on skin. I couldn't just do test strips because they are so similar. But the changes really only apply, I think, on skin. I doubt you could really tell much of a difference on paper with these. So, all right, where was I? Here we go. Been eyeballing this house, but I'm not sure what to get first. All sound pretty interesting. I would say the safest bet, because of the additional freshness over this, would be Montabaco Verano. So maybe that's still my favorite, to be determined. But Montabaco Verano is such a good spot to start. It's a bluer take on this because there's more freshness and citrus and just overall softer wood feel. It's not as dark. Pretty similar, though. Ormonde Jayne Muscat. Hello from India. Rasase Hawass 2023 batch. I don't know. I don't buy a new batch unless I need one. I still have plenty in my bottle, so I may never know, because I may never go through that bottle. It's literally right there. You can see the juice level from here. I'm nowhere close to needing a bottle, so I don't know what to tell you, my man. Brioni EDP to me smells like green Fahrenheit. Yes, the way I look at it is fruity Fahrenheit, because a lot of apple. It's Fahrenheit reimagined is the way I've been describing it when I talk about it in videos. So yeah, it's that jam. It's a great base DNA, because so far all three of the flankers are great. I can't wait to see what next year's flanker is going to be if they do another one, because Essential, this year's green flanker, cardamom and tomato leaf, it's that jam. It might be the best one. I still have to spend more time with it before I can give it that praise, but really good stuff, man. Having connection problems. It's every live stream, Boz. It's at night. I'll do a speed test, and my bandwidth, the download stream will be 400, 500, 600 megabytes per second. Upload stream will be 150 megabytes per second. 80 to 100. I usually run a speed test before we go live. 80 to 100 downstream, 15 megabytes upstream. And then for some reason, I just get random drop-offs all throughout. It's a lot more valleys than peaks when I'm actually live. It's very weird. Ooh, for great. Sad part is I'm paying for a 1.2 gigabyte per second connection. I damn sure ain't getting remotely even close to that. Dan, what's going on? Good to see you, my man. Tobacco vanille is not sweet at all. On you. You know, vanilla is sweet, right? And vanilla is all throughout the fragrance. It is definitely, it's spicy, it's earthy, it's all that, but it's a creamy vanilla. So you're one of the few. I don't think I'm not saying you're the only person that feels that way, but you're the only person I've ever seen say that. So it might be more of a you thing. It is sweet. It's just maybe not sweet on you. Could be the case. Anybody else experiencing stream hiccups? Yes, everybody on every time I go live since I moved here. Invictus Intense. Boy, you never hear anybody talk about that one. Missing a lot from South Africa. We'll catch up later. Well, I appreciate you being here nonetheless. No, that's an old flanker. That was actually the second flanker. First flanker. I think that came out before Aqua 2016. I think. Let me see. No, it came out after. So it's the second flanker. So you had Invictus Aqua 2016, then in 2017, Invictus Intense came out. Only difference, Boz, it's got a whiskey note. So it's got a sweet boozy feel. It literally smells just like Invictus, but add a sweet boozy accord. That's literally the only difference. Yep. It's good. I have a 50 ml. Been having it for years. It's super underappreciated. Isn't there one they say smells like a niche version of Dolce & Gabbana Pour Homme? Possibly. I'm not sure. Quite possible, though. They have a lot of fragrances. Invictus Intense is discontinued. I believe that. Joining late, wearing blue Atlas Atlantis today. Did you decide to run? No. Yeah, we're going to ride it out here. We're not leaving. Yeah. Yeah, we're not leaving, Lee. We're hanging tight. We're on the west side of the storm anyway, so it's not going to get too. I mean, it's going to get some bad weather, but it won't be too bad. It was late because I went to the supplement store, stock up on greens, caffeine powder, and iso juice. So I'm guessing some whey isolate. I think it's the whole lineup is an air accord in blending the extrait with a hybrid molecule definitely changes the humidity. That makes complete sense. Yep, that makes all the sense right there. Ross, have you ever tried the replica line of black bottles like Flying? I have not. I've seen them. I just haven't tried any of them. You'd ask, where I live in Arkansas, there's no Macy's, and that's the only place I can find one selling Jean Paul Gaultier elixir. Is it worth blind buying? Well, that depends. Do you like vanilla heavy sweet fragrances is what you need to be able to answer. That's what it comes down to. It does smell like Lamal. The DNA is there. The mint, the lavender is there, but so is a load of vanilla, woods and spice, but loads of vanilla. So that's what it comes down to. You need to be able to answer that. If yes, then sure, go for it. Just know it's an expensive blind buy that you better like vanilla if you're going to blind buy it. You know, love when that happens. Oh, for me, the parfum. I have the parfum, but I don't that it performs well enough. Know that it performs well enough, you mean? Thoughts? I mean, that's a you thing. You got to decide. Because doesn't perform well enough for you means nobody ever gives you a compliment. So they can't smell you. That might be what you mean. Or you can't smell it after a couple of hours. Or it actually gives you like 10 hours. It just doesn't project enough, or it doesn't fill a room. Like there's so many ways this could go on why you're saying you don't think it performed well enough. So, I mean, that's something you got to answer for yourself. Because I love the way the parfum performs on me. I get about 10 hours and it's not a loud fragrance. It's much more subdued. It's very clean and professional, refined. I really like the way it wears. So, I mean, that's something you got to answer for yourself, really. Ingenious Ginger, I've heard great things. It's in the days Arabian Ouds Amiri. Let's see. No, it's on Wi-Fi. So the modem had to be in the living room because for some reason the coaxial in this room does not work because I did hook it up in here first and there's no signal to it. So I'm waiting on somebody to come out here to handle that so I can move it in here and get wired. Because yes, that would solve the problem for sure. There's only one wall separating it, but still. And it shouldn't be this much of an issue, though. Royal Mayfair, that's underappreciated. Total blind buy. So it's been a while, but it has a little bit of that. I'm trying to think. It's been so long. I had a decant of it. Kind of like a mothball feel, as weird as that may sound. If I remember correctly, that's the one with eucalyptus. It's got this minty, almost mothball-like smell to it. Very fresh, watery fragrance, a little bit of green tones. My memory serves me correctly, I think that's the one with eucalyptus because I had a decant years ago. Let's see. It is the one with eucalyptus, yes, and the gin. So yeah, there you go. So yeah, it's very green, like I was saying, mentholic. It's like I said, almost a mothball type of smell. The way the gin, pine, and eucalyptus come across, but it sounds off-putting when I say that, but it's not. So I forgot I didn't do the split screen, but very underappreciated fragrance from them. It's actually very good. It's a kind of classy fragrance, honestly. You can pull it off casually, but it'll dress up really well. Good wedding fragrance in the summertime. Very, very good daytime wedding, high heat fragrance. I do not. Let's see, scroll down. So, I mean, we covered what I wanted to cover. Just to do a quick recap, Ormonde Man still drying down. I did bump it from a 7 to a 7.5 once the sandalwood started to come in more. It's very creamy, musky, and woodsy at this point. And the spice has reared its head a bit more. In the opening, I really wasn't getting much spice at all. Whereas I still think it's like a pink pepper spice where it's not real hot, light sweet spice. And a nice green tone, kind of a sticky green, like resinous feel. It's really, really nice. The dry down's better. The early dry down is much better than the kind of I don't want to say boring opening, but kind of boring opening, like done to death, but at least the quality is really good. But as it starts to dry, it becomes a bit more magical. A little bit of magic gets sprinkled in, I guess you could say. Now, Montabaco Intensivo. This is that jam. This is definitely a more earthy and spicy take on Montabaco Verano, but the more it settles down, the more redundant this fragrance is to Verano. Super redundant, like almost the same fragrance. If I wasn't so familiar with Verano, I'd have to have them side by side to be able to tell the differences. But I'm pretty well versed on Montabaco Verano, and that's much more grapefruit and clean wood smell. Whereas this is a lot more the suede, tobacco, moss. The greens are really coming out more, the spiciness. And it's a little bit like the tobacco comes across smoky from Verano on my skin. It comes off even more smoky here. They're both phenomenal. If you want the fresher one, you go with Verano. If you want the more earthy one, you go with Intensivo. That's basically the way I can put it. And I gave it an 8.5 out of 10, by the way. And I'm sticking by that 8.5 out of 10. I think that's the right rating for that. Wearing Vetiver Sensual. Speaking of beautiful vetiver fragrances, that's a little smoky on my skin. Have you ever smelled Usher VIP? I looked it up to see if anyone's done a review, but couldn't find anything. I have not. I have not tried it, my friend. Not niche, but Bulgari Pour Homme is worthy. You and the Bulgari Pour Homme, boy, I swear. Randy's in the house wearing Dior Homme Parfum today on a slightly cooler day. So I mentioned you earlier, my man. Finally got around to spraying those Gisadas. I don't know where I'm Okay, we're back. Keep bandwidth issues. So they restocked these and the original with fragrance buy. So I was like, let me spray them before I buy them. Randy sent me these. Let me might as well. So it's still a blind buy with Ambassador, but this falls in between Latafa Assad and Sauvage Elixir. Sauvage Elixir is better, but I still was like, yeah, I bought a bottle for $100. I like this. Resinous, smoky, a little bit of licorice, ambery, and then this was a pass for me. I was like, yeah, it's nice, but I didn't need to. Could have got a 50 ml for like $58, but I was like, maybe down the line it doesn't speak to me enough to buy it. But yeah, that was why I brought you up earlier, because like Randy sent me these. So it's like I would be stupid to not spray these before I buy these bottles. So that I did that last night, and then I ended up buying the bottles this morning. But good to see you, Randy. Amari, good to see you as well. Any other fragrances with a ton of Isoe Super besides Dior 2020 and Bleu de Chanel? Well, here you go. Montabaco Intensivo and Montabaco Verano are loaded down with Isoe Super. Isoe Super bombs, but it's not off-putting, because like that was something I didn't really care for about Dior 2020 the first time I smelled it, first couple of times. It was too much. Whereas here, it never bothered me with the Montabaco flankers, because I've had Verano for a long time, like even before I really came around to Dior 2020. But I know there's more that have a lot of Isoe Super. None really come to mind outside of the two you named and the two I named. Yourself Bulgari Pour Homme ASAP. You and Bulgari Pour Homme, boy, I'll tell you what. Yes, or Lamal Eau Fraiche. Well, there you go. There's one full of Isoe Super. Parfum is richer and less projection for me. Which Parfum? Are you talking about Dior Homme Parfum? because that's a monster. So I don't think you're talking about that one. Which parfum are you talking about? Heard scent similar between 1 Million Parfum and Spice Bomb Extreme. You heard what scent similar? Because those aren't similar. Those two are not similar at all. So I don't fully understand what you're asking me, Jay. Master J Madness. Could you ask again a little different, a little clearer, maybe? Because I don't understand completely what scent is similar between those two. So whoever told you that's full of it, I don't know who said that. I don't care who it is. If they're watching this or somebody tells them your nose is broken, whoever said that, that those smell nothing alike. That's spice, tobacco, and vanilla. This is tuberose and bubblegum, basically. It smells like sunscreen. It's like they smell nothing alike. Which one would you recommend that can be worn on more occasions? 1 Million Parfum could be worn on more occasions, but yeah, those don't smell anything alike, my man. They're both great. They just don't smell alike at all. I'm literally wearing a clone of 1 Million Parfum right now. I'm wearing Fakar Gold. And I have 1 Million Parfum as well, which I love. So stay tuned for the review because people will be surprised what I have to say. Just get the original. I'll spoil it with that and say just get 1 Million Parfum. It's much better than the clone. I followed the hype. Hey, hype's justified on that one, in my opinion. No, he's just that's a running joke. He's always pressuring me about it. That's why he's doing that. He's been on me. Like, it would literally make his world if I would buy a bottle of Bulgari Porum and review it. He's been dying for me to get that. And it just doesn't excite me to where I was like, let me buy it. Screen froze. I don't know if you guys can hear me or not. So yeah, here it is right here. Yeah, he's a huge fan of this fragrance. I don't have any experience with it. I don't really care for the Frederick Malle fragrances. They never really excited me. Maybe your router needs an update. My router has been out of the box for a month. Creed Aventus worth a blind buy. Everyone talks about it, but is it worth the price? It is worth sampling first. Do not blind buy that fragrance. Sample it. Way too expensive. Showing a sub to a certain chaotic person for that notification. I passed. Sean Conley? Talking about Sean Conley sub to a certain chaotic person for that notification. I passed. I don't know. I mean, I think you're talking about Dallas first and foremost, but I don't understand the context. I read so many comments in this that it was something I addressed and then I've just forgotten. For that notification, I passed. Oh, one of his. Of course, the screen freezes again. Like I was saying, shout outs to Dallas and his hustle. Yeah, I know he does those sales posts on his community tab. I don't know which fragrance you're talking about though. Was it Bulgari Porum? Maybe is that what we're talking about here? I wouldn't be surprised if it is discontinued though. I mean, so much good stuff gets discontinued, and MG raves about it. Clearly, he brings it up all the time in live streams. All right, so I tried scrolling up to see if I could see anything. Let's see. Let me scroll down. Literally one of the best. You were that guy. I forgot. Yeah. He's always talking about it. He loves it. I'm subscribed to many channels, but only 2 that I support monetarily. And I appreciate you, Sean. Thank you, my man. Picked up samples of tobacco and leather tobacco. Looking forward to testing them out. I hope you enjoy them, Juan. Hope you enjoy them. The wearability is going to lie in tobacco. The wow factor is going to lie in leather tobacco. Leather tobacco is not near as wearable. It's very specific on when to, at least for me, on when to wear. It's amazing, but it's crazy potent. It's super dark. It's like winter and formal. It doesn't have to be formal, but it's a great daring scent. Very daring. Very
serious fragrance, you know, badass fragrance. Very pungent, but too much for warmer weather. Way too much. Whereas tobacco, you can wear that year round. I don't like Creed Royal Water when I was younger. Years later, my sinus matured. That's another one that doesn't get any love. Both the Royal fragrances, Royal Water and Royal Mayfair. So we'll hang out for a few more minutes. I mean, we covered everything. Also, Randy must have ordered it from Europe. Randy's all about those new releases. So I don't want to know what he thought because I plan on getting that one. I think we talked about that recently in a live when Randy was in the chat, where I try to avoid. That's one opinion I definitely try to avoid when it comes to designer new releases, because we typically think the same most of the time with designers. I would say like 8 out of every 10 fragrances, we're pretty much like on the same wavelength and frame of mind with them. So it's like, if I hear Randy's opinion before I try it, I'm going to have that going into it, and it's going to influence my opinion. So it's like, I try to avoid Randy's video until I smell it. Then I'll be like, oh, what'd Randy think, to see if we jived. And most of the time we do. So I've learned I need to avoid Randy's video on a certain fragrance until I get the fragrance, because it'll influence me greatly. Yeah, both Intense and Womo smell Sauvage Elixir-ish, but the OG is nice. Mango Sauvage. Yes, that's what I hear. So I'm actually quite excited about that. I was a little disappointed because last night they had 100 ml and 100 ml tester and a 50 ml. And the 100 ml tester was like $10 or $11 more than the 50 ml. I wake up this morning because I decided I'm going to go ahead and pull the trigger. 100 ml testers and the 100 ml full presentation sold out. Shit. I made my order before they sold out. I don't know if they still have the 50 ml, but the indication was it was about to happen, though. So I went ahead and pulled the trigger. St. John's ever dethrone New Orleans? Oh, is number one? No. New Orleans is still number one. St. John's like number 2, though. Yeah. St. John for the Virgin Island Water City Rhythm. Yeah. Yeah, New Orleans is my favorite. I mean, there's a bias there. And then I just love, it's like my favorite boozy fragrance now. It's incredible. Niles are great. I notice your background doesn't freeze, just the video. It's more software related than Frozen Connection. I mean, let me just run a speed test real quick. Because I mean, even if I'm still just doing 100 megabytes per second upstream and say 20 megabytes per second downstream, I shouldn't have these issues with 720p bandwidth. So it's hovering around 115 megabytes per second download speed, 120, 125. It's still climbing, and it freezes right when I'm saying that. So the downstream is fine, and then my upstream is hovering around 48 megabytes per second. I shouldn't have this issue on 720p. It's not like I'm streaming at 4K or 1080p, 60 frames per second or any of that. It's a barely... It's, bordering standard definition. 720p is not even really all that considered high definition anymore that it used to be. So it's not like it's some high bandwidth that's required to do this. So I don't know. Dude, I heard you're not a fan of YSL Intense. For something better. Oh, both. Because St. Bart's for Women smells like the men's with florals. It's just got a little bit more of a... There's differences, but if I was just picking one, the men's is better. Yeah, I would definitely get the men's if I'm just picking one. The only one I got 2 that have a spoiled top note. A like 23-year-old bottle of the original Nautica, vintage bottle of Nautica. The citrus is spoiled, but after like 2 or 3 minutes, it's fine. And then the citrus is spoiled on Ed Hardy Love and Luck. That bottle's like 12 years old. Yeah, 12 or 13 years old, something like that. And the citrus note's spoiled on it, but after a couple of minutes, it's fine. Because that's the thing that'll spoil is citruses. They're the most volatile. Woods and spices and greens and florals, they don't really spoil. Resins, booze, it doesn't really spoil. It's pretty much just citruses. All right, let's see. Unforgettable. Let's see. So we're going to be shutting it down here in just a minute. I just want to get caught up on the chat because we accomplished the goal here. Intensivo's lightened up a little bit. And Ormonde, man, is getting creamier and creamier. Started to smell pretty damn good, got to say. Oh, there's a bunch of those. I'm going to let the chat weigh in on that. Ooh, you got 2 bangers in yesterday, Dan. Mancera Tonka Cola, more of a wintertime scent. No, I wouldn't wear that in the summer. Too thick and sweet, man. I wouldn't. I mean, you can. It's just gonna be. It's probably gonna be cloying. I wouldn't try it. I wouldn't try it. Yeah. Once fall rolls around, milder fall weather, yeah, you can definitely pull it off for that. You want to know? Get a grape soda vibe from the 1 million line. I've heard people do. I never have, but I've heard people get that. Oh, yeah, EQ is going to have a live stream tonight. For those of you not following Equality Fragrances on here, you should subscribe. He's going to be talking about the new release, Smoking Hot from Killian, tonight. If you had one Tom Ford to have for life, which one would you recommend? That would be Ombre Leather, sir. I think that's the safer play. Now, being in the climate that I'm in now, I think a close second, and this may shock people, is Costa Azzurra Parfum. That's a close second. Really love that Mediterranean woodsy vibe. It's got this marine feel without being super aquatic, and a nice rich woody tone and a lot of green to it, a lot of cypress. It's quite nice. I love all the versions of Costa Azzurra, but the one that speaks to me the most is the Parfum. Even though I've been wearing the Aqua the most lately, the Parfum is still my favorite version. So a close second. So I would say Ombre Leather with a close second being Costa Azzurra Parfum. No, not yet. Everybody's been praising it too. I don't know if the audio cut out or not, but yeah, I bought 5 fragrances from Fragrance by Tay. I bought Shades of Column, Issey Miyake. Finally got around to getting that. I blame Omos for that. I got Jasada Ambassador Intense and Ambassador coming. I got Belle Ombre from Jacques Fath. I have another Jacques Fath coming. And the Le Male Le Parfum clone for Fragrance World. They restocked it, and I was like, yes, I want to check that out. Because that's like some of my favorite designers. If they clone it, it's like, all right, I want to see if it measures up. Because that's the clones of the designers that they're doing are the easiest ones to critique harshly. Because in my mind, and I said this, I'm gonna touch on this in one of the reviews because I'm gonna be reviewing F Le Parfum and Fakar Gold. I'll probably film those in a little while for tomorrow. When it comes to cloning the designers, there's less room for error, in my opinion, because, prime example, I paid $77 for 1 million Parfum, and that's $39. You better be spot freaking on for me to just say, I'm going to save $40 instead of, let's say it was a Roger Parfums fragrance that can go anywhere from $300 to $1,000 for the $39 clone. There's more room for error. There's more wiggle room for you not being spot on, or maybe a little bit more synthetic or less performance or whatever the case. Whereas when it's just don't buy 5 cheapies this week and wait till next paycheck and get the real one, when that's the advice that can be given, it's easier to critique these harder, which I know some people like reviews like that. And it's nice to provide reviews like that because not everything's amazing. And I'm not saying these aren't. One of these two got a phenomenal grade, and one of these got a very good grade with some pretty heavy critiques, is how the reviews are going to go with this. My final thoughts. So point being, that's why I buy certain clones like that. Like I absolutely wanted to get Le Male Le Parfum because it's just like with those two, the originals are 2 of my favorite designers as of late. With the Le Male Le Parfum clone, I love Le Male Le Parfum. So I got it, and if it doesn't measure up, it might not be the most favorable review. Whereas if it does measure up, it's like, holy shit, guys, for $30, $29, you don't have to spend the $90. You could just get this. So that's the trade-off. So I know that has nothing to do with what you're asking. But I wanted to let you know that, like, we're talking about what I did spend money on today. And hey, here's why I buy these clones of these designers. There's a method to that madness. But I do plan on getting Mr. Maritime. It got derailed when I bought those fragrances today. I have those coming. So Mohammed that owns Sphinx, he's been in Egypt for a while. He messaged me randomly. He's like, "Sorry, I haven't checked up on you in a while. I've been in Egypt." And he accidentally sent a package to me, but it went to Colorado, and he sent it UPS, so it's not going to get forwarded here and be a destroyed box like the Aroma Concepts package was. That one USPS, so it was able to get forwarded. So he's sending me out another package. So whoever's living at my old apartment got a free package from Sphinx Fragrances delivered to him yesterday. Actually, it came in yesterday. He sent me the tracking. No worries. No worries. It didn't make complete sense what you were saying, and I was really trying to piece together what you were asking exactly. The way it was worded was a little confusing. I had to kind of like read it out loud a few times to really grasp what you were asking me. Maybe to my detriment. Maybe I sound like a dumbass. I don't know. But yeah, no harm, no foul, man. I'm here to help if I can. But yeah, those two don't smell anything alike. But if you're looking for the more wearable in more situations, but again, they're both sweet, but one's sweet spicy and one's sweet and playful summertime sunscreen. Like, it's weird, but it works. 1 Million Parfum. I've heard so many good things about that one. Yeah, that's Herpen's brand. It's supposed to be when it hits landfall. But yeah, I'm going to be on the west side of the storm. So anybody that lives in the Gulf Coast and is familiar with hurricanes, the west side of the storm is where you want to be. The east side of the eye is the worst part. Granted, right by the eye is the actual worst part. The eye wall is the absolute worst spot. But if you're far enough to the west side, you're going to get rain and bands and wind and stuff like that. But the heavy flooding and stuff like that, that's the east side, because it's literally bringing the water in because it spins counterclockwise. So it's constantly bringing water in. And then the side I'm getting is coming from land going back to water. That's the west side. It's the other side of the clock. So when you're going counterclockwise, you want to be on the other side of the clock. Picture a clock. You want to be before 12. You don't want to be after 12. After 12, you need to leave. If it's going to be a bad storm, you definitely need to evacuate. Whereas there's risk, but the risk is lower if you're before 12 o'clock. So I hope that analogy helps. For those that don't know, I'm not saying you don't know, but for those watching that aren't familiar with how it works with hurricanes, I assume. Oh, he put out a post about it. I don't know. I don't know. I didn't see it, but I know he does those sales posts. Like I said, shout outs to Dallas and his hustle. You know what I mean? I've had companies I've worked with in the past ask me to do that. And I was like, nah, I'm not doing that. If it's something I'm wearing that day and I think it's something people have been asking about or something, sure, I'll put my affiliate link. But I'm not just gonna make a post, hey guys, there's 5 left. That's just not my thing. That's it. That's his thing. More power to him. You know, I'm sure it works for him. You know, dropping in late. First thing I hear is don't buy that fragrance. Noted. Welcome, Jared. Good to see you. What if I've been spraying a good bit? Because I'm constantly switching it up because I always have new stuff coming in and stuff I haven't been wearing that I want to wear. So it's kind of a crapshoot. It's not like normally if you see something a couple of times in a month, that means like I'm really, really digging that fragrance. That's kind of how you can look at it. Not necessarily a couple times in a week. If you see me wear something and it's in a few rotation videos in a row, or like 2 or 3 of them that month, that's a lot of wears for me. If I can wear something 3, 4, 5 times in a month, that's a lot because I'm always testing something. So really, I don't even know what I could say as an answer, to be honest with you, because I've been mixing it up so much lately. I wore Tommy Bahama St. Bart's for women a few times since I moved here. We talked about that one earlier too. Believe it or not, it smells like St. Bart's. It still smells like the men's. It smells like a margarita, but with flowers. So it's a floral margarita smell, as weird as that is. But I just really like it. Tommy Bahama St. Bart's for women is actually the cheapie that I've reached for the most as of late. Weird how that worked out. About to order 32 ml decants. About to drop $250 on decants. Will you go ahead with your bad self before I blind buy? Well, I appreciate the vote of confidence. Jared with the $5 super chat. Apparently, I'm having bandwidth issues because it did not want to pin. I need everyone to slap that like button. Barely have 50% engagement rate. Do better, fam. Oh, wow. Yes. Only 35 likes. And we had like 120, 130 people at one point. Damn. Bunch of people watching me that don't actually like me. Because if they liked me, they'd like the video, right? It's sad. Tear. One lonesome tear rolls down my face. Tisk, tisk. But Jared, I appreciate the $5 super chat nonetheless. Good to see you again. Welcome 2 days in a row. Ah, Sauvage Parfum. That is my favorite version. Let's see, what's up with that shirt line? It's odd. I think it might be YouTube, not you. No, because it's doing it on StreamYard. It's on my end. So I get both of the same Barts. I mean, I did. I like them both a lot. What up? Love the live streams. Aero CDP and my wife's wearing Delana La Rose. Well, Charlie, I appreciate that. And you and your wife are both smelling really good today, sir. My first thought, I'll be getting more. Lots of. Oh, that's answering a question in there. Say Desir Toxic. That's more of an earthy green, too. It definitely doesn't have that marijuana smell. That's typically the cannabis notes I like. Another one would be Narcotica. That's a really good smoky cannabis note. The actual self-titled Narcotica fragrance. All right, so I'm going to scroll down a little bit because it's time to go ahead and shut it down. We kind of went over time from what we normally do. So actually, Lydia, shout outs to Lydia, which I haven't seen her yet in the chat. She's sending me a sample. She literally put it in the mail today. I have a decant coming from Lydia, so I don't have to wait to get a bottle. We'll do it on a live stream. And we'll do a live first impressions on Honor and Glory in the Body Out Oud line. So I'm pretty excited. She kind of sold me on it. She said it was Ani mixed with Oud for Glory, mixed with Hachivat was kind of how it came across to her. So I was like, that sounds fantastic. And immediately after the live stream, I had a message from her offering me up a decant. And she literally made the package and shipping label and everything like within 20 minutes. Like she said she loves doing stuff like that. She was super excited to send me a decant. So shout outs to Lydia, regular here on the channel. She's actually sending me a sample. So I would say by early next week, we'll be doing a live stream. Depending on how this storm affects the mail situation over here, so I don't know. John, good to see you. So I'm scrolling down just a little bit, trying to get caught up. No problem. Invictus Platinum. Keep up the hard work. Brian, I appreciate you being here. Antonio, good to see you as well. Wearing Bubble Bath. That's the replica fragrance, right? Mason Margiela. I think Niche Original Amen. Testing 40 knots from Decant today, and it's really great. It is phenomenal. I need to put that back in the. There's so many I need to wear. I just have so freaking many. So we will be doing I'm going to be filming the collection video probably this weekend, and I'll put that out next week, by the way, because I promised you guys end of the month a collection video. So, because and not all of it's on camera. It goes all the way. Goes all the way over there. And I still got a hat rack to build for the closet. That's why those hats are out. I'm almost done with the room. Constantly having to buy new shelving because I'm putting so much stuff in these closets. I got 2 pretty big closets to work with. So we'll be doing the collection video. I'll probably film that this weekend, and sometime next week that'll come out. I'll probably do a premiere for that so everybody can set a reminder that wants to see it. So laggy. Yeah, trust me, it's frustrating for me too, man. The game. Curious to see what your favorite iris fragrance is. My favorite iris fragrance, not counting the 2 that I created with Claude Deer through Zaharoff, not counting my own 2 iris fragrances, I would say Dior Homme Parfum. Easily. Really like his Phantom Parfum. I keep hearing people talk really good about it. I need to get my nose on it. That's a 10-hour fragrance on me. I spray it on my shirt. It stays on the shirt till I wash it. Slap that like button. I'm going to click refresh because I just refuse to believe there's only 35 likes. 92 likes. Okay, yeah. So, yeah. So I actually have more likes than viewers currently. So I just needed to refresh. So, yeah, because that was hard to believe. Because, like, I normally have 35 likes in the first 7 minutes, 7 minutes, and we're an hour and 15 minutes in. So, but I appreciate you guys. Seriously. So, oh, that's funny. I love you guys too. Thank you very much. But that's funny that you ask. We'll end it on this because I do need to shut it down. I do have some stuff I need to go take care of. We ran 16 minutes past for this, but I appreciate you guys being here. So I think it's time for CM Punk to go. I've been thinking it for weeks now. I think it's time. The reports are he's not happy there and doesn't want to be there. I mean, for Tony Khan in the press, in the media scrum, to say with Adam Cole that even if he never came back, he'd have paid him every penny of that contract anyway. You can write off CM Punk's contract, probably. Just pay him and release him. WWE's not going to take him. I think it's time. I think Phil Brooks has ruined the CM Punk character at this point. I've always been a CM Punk fan, and it pains me to say that, but he's causing more harm than good at this point. Because I hear all the reports every day. I stay involved in the wrestling news of what's going on behind the scenes every day. And I think it's more trouble than he's worth at this point. He's still really good in the ring, but he can't be an adult at this point. Phil's ego is just too big, man. I understand the business that's full of egos. I get that, but I'm just at the point to where I think Phil has just gotten too big for his britches kind of thing. And he literally thinks he can say and do whatever to anybody all the time. And he's always right. And his opinion is the only one that matters. It's unfortunate. He's literally killing CM Punk. Phil Brooks is killing CM Punk. And for long-term wrestling fans, which I'm assuming you asking that you're a long-term wrestling fan, it's frustrating. Now, look, Jack Perry shouldn't have said that in the camera. Of course, you know that's going to antagonize Phil and make him fucking put him in a chokehold and shit. You know, of course he's going to behave that way because you antagonized him. Because he can't be the bigger person. He can't. Phil Brooks is too insecure to be the bigger person. That's how it comes across to me. That's my assessment. He can't manage to be the bigger person in a situation. So if that's the toxicity that's going to continue to grow among the roster, where it's side picking and certain shows people can't go on, and this behavior at the biggest show in the history of the company, it's time to cut ties. Even if you got to pay him $3, $5, $6 million, whatever it is. I mean, we're talking about a multi-billionaire. Wipe your ass with the money and move on. I mean, there's still time for Phil Brooks to turn this around. Phil Brooks is CM Punk, for those of you that don't know why I keep saying Phil. That's his actual name, is Phil Brooks. The character is CM Punk. The gimmick is CM Punk. That's why I say he's killing CM Punk. He's killing the character, because the character is not going to be on TV much longer with the path he's going. It's time to shut it down, Phil. It's time to behave, be the bigger person. You want to be a leader, act like a leader. Leaders don't act like that. Lead this young talent. Stop fighting everybody. Stop belittling everybody. And stop putting Tony Khan in these terribly awkward situations to where he's got to pick sides and create consequences. And he's literally let Phil do damn near anything he wants creatively. Pretty much anything. So that's my take on it. I'm disappointed. Yes, Jack Perry could have avoided that situation. He was showing his age. Jack Perry was being a child. He needs to grow up. That was unnecessary. That was very immature on Jack Perry's part. But the follow-up was just as, if not more, immature, given his age, his experience, and the leash he has to work with, the kind of leeway and the rope he gets with mistakes. It's just too much. That's where I'm at with it. So it's unfortunate that it's always drama with AEW, and it's always drama when it involves CM Punk. And that's why I think I think it's the last straw, and the next thing needs to be a release. If it's not this time, the next thing needs to be a release. I would think the 9 lives have ran out for this cat. So on that note, we'll end it on that. I think it's one thing to be a locker room leader, but what if you're not respected and your opinion is not valued? It's the behavior. You have to earn respect, not because of what you did in the past. You need to earn respect for what you're doing here. You have to earn that new locker room's respect, and he has not done that. There's a few people that want to kiss the ring because they're lifelong CM Punk fans, the Ricky Starks, the Powerhouse Hobbs, FTR. You know, that's great that they're his friends and all that. This and constantly taking shots and all this stuff. And, you know, after it goes off air, like he did with Hangman Page the other day, the things he had to say, like, he's got to be the bigger person, man. And we'll shut it down on that. He's got to learn to be the bigger person. He's approaching 50 years old. He's in his 40s. There could be so much. There's so much he could contribute. There's so much good he can do for this company if he could stop getting in his own way. So on that note, we'll go ahead and shut it down. Thank you all for being here. If you guys are interested, I would encourage you sampling. I don't have any links below. Fragrance Buy doesn't have them in stock. I didn't have any links for Ormonde Jayne, but I know you can find them discounted at different places, so you don't necessarily have to get them retail. I didn't have any links to provide to show, but I would check your typical suspects, your fragrance nets and stuff like that. Just know Fragrance Buy doesn't have it. You can always go to the brand, but I would encourage you to sample first. Don't blind buy these. They're pricey. They're much more affordable in the $100 range from discounters when in stock, but definitely sample worthy. Timeless, been done before, just really good quality fougere, and then kind of the big brother to Montabaco Verano. Not as fresh, a little bit more earthy and spicy. In some ways better, in some ways not. So if you have Verano, very redundant. If you have Intensivo, Verano is very redundant. But they're both really good fragrances. 7.5, 8.5. So make sure to check out today's video if you haven't yet. Double review coming tomorrow. So 2 individual review videos. I'll catch you guys on the next one. Have a good one.